surely when you lose 6-1, there's got to be some credence to it.
Yes. And it becomes a much bigger deal than otherwise. If you lose to Spain 2-1, then okay, so be it. But at 6-1 and the sort of mistakes that they made, and then no Lionel Messi on the field, then you start thinking to yourself, hold on a second, what about the system? I thought it was supposed to be the Sampaoli system that was going to get us through. The truth is that this version of Argentina will not be competitive in the World Cup. This version of Argentina, disorganized in the back, disorganized in the midfield, very little connection between the lines, and the mistakes out of the back line, a disaster. The mistakes out of the goalkeeper, a disaster. The mistakes out of the midfield, a disaster. There's nothing about Argentina today that you can say this is a team that will be competing for the World Cup in Russia and would be a team that could actually win the competition. Ali mentioned Sampaoli's system there. Is it just the case that he hasn't had enough time with his players to implement it? And when it comes to the World Cup, obviously, you've got all the weeks leading up to it. So, therefore, it's very harsh to judge him on this.
If I'm correct, the World Cup's coming up very shortly.
Yep.
It's a little bit late to be trying to work on a new system. Listen, you have to figure out how you put a team together to be competitive. Because at the end of the day, this Argentina side was not competitive. And you can lose a friendly 2-1 or maybe even 2-0 and you can talk your way out of it if it wasn't a good performance. You can't talk your way out of this. This was an absolute shambles. And the one thing it will do as well, it'll affect the players. They'll be thinking, wow, I thought we were better than this.
Let's welcome Gab Marcotti into the show. He's a massive Sampaoli lover. So let's not beat about the bush. Your boy dropped the ball very much, didn't he, Gab, today?
Yeah, Argentina were absolutely awful. Spain were fantastic. I mean, they're what Spain can do. You wonder where their B team would get to in this World Cup. What I would say about Sampaoli is that he didn't even want to play these friendlies against Spain and Italy. If it was up to him and his system, he would have rather had them in training camp doing 2-a-days practicing their movements. The difficulty, though, is that's not real life. You have to play these games also because the Argentine FA wants the money from prestige friendlies. And this is the challenge he has to do with. I think between now and the World Cup, he's going to have to decide whether he's going to keep pushing his system or whether he's going to try to find something more traditional to revert to and just make it all about Messi and hope that something good happens at the other end.
If Sampaoli's excuse is going to be, well, I didn't even want these games so I can work on my shape or whatever, what's a lot of nonsense? Listen, you can only do so much in training. You have to play games to figure out whether it works in an actual game. Because everybody's gone through it, coaching-wise, where you set everything up on the training field and it works a dream. Yeah. And then you step on the field and the whole thing falls apart. So if Sampaoli's going to start throwing out, well, I don't really want these games anyway, I'd say, but he certainly better not be coming knocking at my door with it.
If you're not prepared when you play, then you're not learning your system and you're getting embarrassed by Spain. So that doesn't help much. He's not using it as an excuse. What he's saying, I think, is that, look, we're not going to get much out of these games. The benefit I get during this international break is from working with the players, from getting to know them, from watching their movements, from figuring out who's ready to come with me and who's not. I think it's as simple as that.
I just don't know how a system has to do with people turning the ball over in the back line, playing out of the back. I don't know what the system has to do with Biglia and some of the lack of athleticism that you have in Argentina in the middle of midfield. I don't know what the system has to do with Higuaín missing opportunities from 4 or 5 yards out. See, the thing is that at some point you have to start talking, okay, is it Sampaoli that's going to be on the field, or are these players going to be on the field? The players are going to be on the field. And what we saw today from Argentina, that inability to sort out problems that are going on the field by a team in Spain that would present those problems to you at the World Cup level, then Argentina may not be the team that we think they are. Simple as that. Now, here's the other thing. Lionel Messi is not on the field.
Of course.
And that's a big deal as well.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't account for 6 goals by Spain, but it does make a difference in the way that Argentina plays, and it does make a difference in the way that Spain would play against Argentina.
And Spain, of course, one of the favourites. You take a look at their group is what? Iceland, Croatia, Nigeria. Argentina won't face a team of this sort of calibre until the latter stages of the competition.
You know, I think, again, that would be the comfortable way to look at it. The problem is, when you're such a shambles, it doesn't take a Spain at their best to put 6 past you. You know, a team that'll just be competitive and not give anything away and will always be in the game, they're liable to beat an Argentina. That's what their problem is. Forget Spain. Listen, if they get to the latter stages, they can worry about that then. They've got to make sure they get out the group. Playing like that, that might not happen.